boughs of holly, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la, la la la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. Yeah, now you get to sing. Now, I know you thought you were going to get away this evening with not having to sing, but that's not true. You have to sing, and I get to do the fa-la-las, okay? So get ready. The words are going to be on the bottom of your screen, so no excuses. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Singing with me. You're fabulous. You guys are great. I'm going to take you with me everywhere. Anytime I need a choir, you're my backup singers. Okay. Welcome to a co-op Christmas. This is 2 nights of wonder, love, and light. I'm Linda KERNS, and I'm so happy that you've joined us. Tonight and tomorrow night, we hope to bring you some holiday cheer, and we're going to have 2 different evenings of programming, a couple of classics and a couple of new stories and some holiday music. So make sure that you tune in again tomorrow night for a completely different show. And it's a completely different evening of virtual theater for you to share with your family and friends right here on YouTube. Okay. Now, for those of you watching that are subscribers or regular attenders at Actors Co-op shows, we miss you. No, we really do. We really miss you. We hope that you're well and that you're safe. And we can't wait until we can get back in the theater again. But until then, we're glad to visit you in your living room, in your office, on your phone, wherever you are. We're very happy to celebrate the season with you. Tonight, virtually. Okay, tonight we're going to bring you 2 stories that depict Christmas in 2 very different parts of the world. Our first piece was written by some old hack, Louisa May Alcott. Oh, right, Louisa May Alcott, the one who wrote Little Women. I got it. Okay, so yeah, she also wrote a lot of short stories, many of them that take place at this time of year. So I want you to sit back and relax and enjoy Tilly's Christmas.
I'm so glad tomorrow is Christmas because I'm going to have lots of presents.
Oh, so am I glad, though I don't expect any presents except a pair of mittens.
And so am I, but I shan't have any presents at all.
How can you be happy when you're so...
Don't you wish you can find a purse full of money right here on the path?
Don't I, if I could keep it honestly?
What would you buy?
I'd buy a pair of large warm blankets, a load of wood, a shawl for Mother, and a pair of shoes for me.
Ooh.
And if there was enough left, I'd give you, Bessie, a new hat, and then you needn't wear Ben's old felt one.
Much obliged, but I'd rather have candy.
Oh, let's look, and maybe we could find a purse on the path. People are always going about with money at Christmas time, and someone may have dropped theirs here.
Oh, yes.
Ooh. Let's see.
I see it! I found it!
Oh. Nothing but a stupid old robin. How provoking. It looks broken.
I shan't touch it. I found one once and took care of it, and the ungrateful thing flew away the minute it was well.
Poor little birdie. How pitiful he looks. And how glad he must be to see someone coming to help him. I'll take him up gently and carry him home to Mother.
Oh.
Don't be frightened, dear. I'm your friend.
Don't stop for that old thing. It's getting late and cold.
Let's go on and look for the purse.
You wouldn't leave it to die. I'd rather have the bird than the money, so I shan't look anymore. The purse wouldn't be mine, and I would only be tempted to keep it, but this poor thing will thank and love me, and I'm so glad I came in time. Now I've got a Christmas present after all. I always wanted a bird, and this one will be such a pretty pet for me.
He'll fly away the first chance he gets and die anyhow. You better not waste your time over him.
He can't pay you for taking care of him. And my mother says it isn't worth helping folks that can't help us.
Well, my mother says, do as you'd be done by, and I'm sure I'd like anyone to help me if I was dying of cold and hunger. Love your neighbor as yourself is another one of her sayings. This bird is my little neighbor, and I'll love him and care for him as I often wish our rich neighbor would love and care for us.
What a funny girl you are, carrying on about that silly bird and talking about loving your neighbor in that sober way. Mrs. King doesn't care one bit for you and never will, though she knows how poor you are. So I don't think your plan amounts to much.
I believe it, though, and shall do my part anyway. Good night. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and get lots of pretty things. Never mind, Birdie. We'll make the best of what we have and be merry in spite of everything. You shall have a happy Christmas anyway, and I know God won't forget us, if everyone else does. Hello, Mother. See what a nice present I found.
I'm glad, dearie, for I haven't been able to get my little girl anything but a rosy apple. Oh, poor bird. Give it some of your warm bread and milk.
Why, Mother, what a big bowlful. I'm afraid you've given me all the milk.
I've had plenty, dearie. Dry your wet feet. I'll get a basket for the bird and warm flannel.
Mother's given me all the milk and is going without her tea because she knows I'm hungry. Now I'll surprise her, and she shall have a good supper too.
Oh, Tilly. Thank you. Ah, such a simple supper and yet such a happy one. For love, charity, and contentment, our guest here. Now we must go to bed early, for we've only enough wood to last through tomorrow. I shall get paid for my work the day after, and we can get some.
If only my bird was a fairy bird and would give us 3 wishes. How nice it would be. Poor dear, he can't give me anything. But it's no matter.
He can give you one thing, Tilly. The pleasure of doing good. That is the sweetest thing in life, and the poor can enjoy it as well as the rich.
I saw a face. A woman's face looking in. It's gone now, but I truly saw it.
Some traveler attracted by the light, perhaps, but I'll go take a look. No one there. Just the Christmas moon glittering in the sky. Are you sure you saw someone?
I was startled, but I think so. They had a pleasant sort of face. I wish we had a curtain in the window.
Oh, I like to have our light shine out in the evening. For the road is dark and lonely just here, and the twinkle of our lamp is pleasant to people's eyes as they go by. We can do so little for our neighbors. I'm glad that you're the way for them. Go to bed, dearie. I'll come soon.
Good night, Mother. Good morning, Birdie. Merry Christmas. Let's see what the day has in store for us. Wood to burn, and winter roses, thick blankets, and a shawl for you, new shoes, and even a hat for Bessie. Did the fairies do it?
Yes, dear, the best and dearest fairy in the world, called kind-heartedness. She walks abroad at Christmas time and does beautiful deeds like this, and does not stay around to be thanked.
Oh, there's a note. To the little girl who loves her neighbor as herself. Mother, I really think my bird is a fairy bird, and all these splendid things come from him.
It really did seem so, but in the joy of the moment, Tilly and Mother didn't notice a shadow glide away from the window. They never knew that Mrs. King had seen and heard Tilly and Kate and Bessie as they walked the night before. Tilly never dreamed that the rich neighbor had learned a lesson from the poor neighbor.
Maybe you're right. This is a fairy bird. For by your love and tenderness to this helpless thing, you brought good gifts to us, and perhaps happiness to the unknown giver of them.
And a new faithful little friend.
Who did not fly away, but stayed with Tilly till the snow was gone, making summer for her and Mother in the wintertime.
Thank you. That was lovely. While you are sipping on some Christmas cheer, and please sip responsibly, don't forget to subscribe to Actors Co-op's YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below the screen so that you can see all of our online performances. Back in March, it's hard to believe it's been 9 months already. Life changed for all of us. Schools, businesses, churches, families, the list goes on and on. We hope and pray that you and your families are healthy and hopeful. Arts organizations have really taken a hit, theaters in particular. I've worked in the theater for years. That's a lot of years. And I've had the good fortune to perform on Broadway and in regional theaters, and of course here on the stages of the Actors Co-op. The experience of performing live, both for the actors and the audience, is like no other. But unfortunately, for the past 9 months and moving on into 2021, it's just not possible. When the pandemic hit, Actors Co-op had to close our production of Lee Blessing's A Body of Water ahead of schedule. Marvin's Room was just about to open that very week, and I had just been cast along with 17 other actors in our production of A Man of No Importance. We were just about to start rehearsal. Of course, the actors in these wonderful shows were disappointed. But beyond that, you don't need to be an accountant or a mathematician to know that if you can't sell tickets, you aren't making any income. Actors Co-op experienced a deficit of $40,000. The good news is that our year-end campaign has already brought in nearly $15,000. Thank you so much for the generosity of those of you who have donated. We're confident that we can make up this deficit so that we can continue to bring you outstanding theater in the coming year. We know that these are extremely challenging times for everyone, but if you are able to support Actors Co-op, we would be extremely grateful. Just visit www.actorscoop.org. The link is in the chat, as well as scrolling below me. Okay, now the ask them for money part's over. How'd I do? Good. Okay, let's return to the show with a musical performance from a longtime co-op member, the lovely TREVA TEGTMEIER, singing What Child Is This?
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. Why lies he in such mean estate, where ox and ass are feeding? Good Christian, fear, for sinners hear, the silent word is pleading. Nails, spears shall pierce him through, the cross be born for me, for you. Hail, hail, the Word made flesh, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him. The King of Kings salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise a song on high. The Virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him laud, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Thank you, TREVA. That was just beautiful. Okay, normally at this time of year, we think about Dickens and London, England, but we're going to travel someplace completely different this time. We want you to join us on a journey to Ghana, Africa. This is to celebrate Christmas Eve.
Hi, I'm Rodrick Jean-Charles, and tonight I'm going to share with you a very special story that may not sound very much like the Christmas stories you're used to. This is Reverend Peter Addo's The Night Before Christmas, an African Christmas story. It was the night before Christmas in Ghana, and I was 8 years old. And I was sure that Christmas would never come. There was none of the usual joy and anticipation. My life had been severely disrupted. I was 8 years old, but in the past few months, I had grown a great deal. Before this year, Christmas had always been for me one of the joyous religious festivals. It was the time for beautiful Christmas music on the streets, on radio, on television, and everywhere. Christmas had always been a religious celebration, and the church started preparing way back in November, preparing for the birth of the baby Jesus. Our relatives and friends visited each other. Traditional food was eaten on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day: rice, chicken, goat, lamb, and fruits of various kinds. The houses were always decorated with beautiful paper ornaments that the children and young people made out of colorful crepe paper. I always thought that was what Christmas was all about. All of us look forward to the Christmas Eve service at our church. And afterwards, there would be a joyous procession through the streets with local musicians in a Mardi Gras sort of mood. Then on Christmas Day, we all went back to church to read the scriptures and sing carols to remind us of the message of the blessed birth of the baby Jesus. After Christmas service, young people received gifts of special chocolate, cookies, and crackers. They also received new clothes and perhaps a new pair of shoes. Meanwhile, throughout this celebration, everyone was greeted with the special greeting, Apishapa, which is the Akan word meaning Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. However, this Christmas Eve, when I was 8 years old, things were different, and I knew Christmas would never come. You see, in April, the so-called Army of Liberation attacked our village, and took all the young boys and girls away. Families were separated and some even murdered. We were forced to march and walk for many miles without food. We lost all sense of time and place. The soldiers burned everything in our village and marketplace. But miraculously, one rainy night, we were able to get away from the soldiers by escaping to the forest. Eventually, we made our way back to our burnt out village. Most of the members of our families were nowhere to be found. My grandmother noticed a reddish and yellow flower we called fire on the mountain. It was blooming in the middle of the marketplace. This tree had stood for generations and had bloomed every year at Christmas time. The fire the soldiers started that burned the marketplace in the village did not destroy the fire on the mountain tree. Nope. What a miracle it was. So my grandmother knew it was almost Christmas because the flower on the tree was blooming. My spirits were lifted perhaps for a few minutes as I saw that flower, but soon I became sad again. How could Christmas come without my parents and the village? How could we celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace? Since April, we had not known any peace, only war and suffering. As I continued to think about past joyous Christmases and the present suffering, we heard the horn of a car. And not just one horn, but several cars approaching our village. At first, we thought they were full of men with machine guns, so we hid in the forest. To our surprise, they were not soldiers and they did not have guns. They were just ordinary travelers. Since it was almost dusk and there were rumors that there were landmines on the roads, they didn't want to take any chances. Their detour had led them straight to our village. When they saw us, they were shocked and horrified at the suffering and devastation all around us. And many of these travelers began to cry. But they did confirm that tonight was Christmas Eve. All of them were on their way to their villages to celebrate Christmas with their family and friends. Now, circumstances had brought them to our village, and they shared what little food they had with us. They even helped us build a fire in the center of the marketplace to keep us warm. But in the middle of all this, my oldest sister became ill and could not stand up. She was expecting a baby. She had been in a state of shock and then I had not spoken since we all escaped from the soldiers. I was afraid for my sister because we did not have any medical supplies and we were not near a hospital. Some of the travelers and the villagers removed their shirts and clothes to make a bed for my sister to lie near the fire that we had made. On that fateful night, my sister gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. This is called for a celebration. War or no war, Africans have to dance. And we celebrated until the rooster crowed at 6 a.m. We sang Christmas songs and everyone sang in his or her own language. For the first time, all the pain and agony of the past few months just went away. When morning finally came, my sister was asked, "What are you going to name the baby?" For the first time since our village was burned, for the first time since all the young girls and boys were taken away, my sister spoke. She said, "His name is Gayi Name," which means, "Except for God, I fear none." Christmas really did come to our village that night. But it did not come in the cars or with the travelers. It came in the birth of my nephew in the midst of our suffering. We saw hope in what this little child could do. This birth turned out to be the universal story of how bad things turned into hope, the hope we found in the baby Jesus. A miracle occurred on Christmas Eve, and all of a sudden, I knew we were not alone anymore. I knew there was hope. I learned that Christmas comes in spite of all circumstances. Christmas is within us all. Christmas even came to our Ghanaian village that night.
Thank you. That was a wonderful and profound message. If you're on our email list, you know that some of our co-op members have been sharing their favorite Christmas memories. Now it's my turn. One of my favorites was when I was about 5 years old. My sister and I used to go down in the basement and camp out on the rollaway beds in front of the black and white, yes, ladies and gentlemen, black and white television. I am that old. And we would watch the parades and all the fun stuff while my parents and Aunt Mary and Uncle JC were upstairs playing canasta and watching football games. Boring. As an adult, I've had a couple of wonderful Christmases. I'll just give you a little taste of them, otherwise we'd be here all night long. One of them was the year I was able to spend Christmas with dear friends in Lodsworth, England. Lodsworth is a magical place at Christmas, but even more so when the time is spent with good friends. I've had Christmases on the beach in Florida, but I think the ones that top of the list are the last 2 years when I've traveled to Maine and stayed with my old college roommate and her husband. I was so ready for snow. I mean, you're going to Maine, right? I had the snow boots and I borrowed the winter coat from a friend of mine, and I had the mittens and the scarf, and I was ready to see the snow. Only thing is, I got off the plane and there was no snow. No. Not for an entire week. No snow. What a drag. Wherever you are this Christmas, we hope that you're making wonderful memories and that you feel the peace and love of this season. We're thankful for each of you and for your support of Actors Co-op. We wish you joy, prosperity, and good health in 2021. And now, here to wrap up the evening, we've got some familiar faces from the Actors Co-op stages, bringing you a classic Christmas carol. Thank you for joining us. Be well.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round the Virgin Mother and Child, all leaves so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all of you. We hope you have the most wonderful holiday season. Thank you for joining us tonight.